What's up, Wargamers? Welcome back to World of Wargaming. I'm Isaiah. Today, we're going to be playing our first game of Verrotwood. I'm going to be playing a solo campaign, and hopefully at some point I will lure somebody into the dark forest to play the game with me. But for now, we're going to enjoy this cool little game on its own by ourselves. We're going to be playing from one of the supplements that was added to the game, Blood and the Riddles. We're going to be playing the Blood half of that mission. Before we do that, if you haven't considered smashing all the buttons or checking out the links in the description, please do, as it really does help me and the channel grow and get out there and reach more people and help these awesome little independent games find more people. That being said, let's go take a look at the board and talk our way through this first game of Verrotwood from Mike Crutchett. All right, friends. This is going to be our setup for the first game of Verrotwood. We are playing the Blood half of the Blood and Riddles supplement. So our cultists start along a board edge of your choosing. I chose this one because it's closest to me. And then we have 5 objective markers in a circle around the center of the board, which represent dried out husks of bodies. The Utenvert will be hiding in one of them at the beginning of each round. In the game, we have random activation. So these counters that you see on the board, these represent when those models activate. So Emmerich is 1, Claustrum is 2, Virgin is 3, and Relique is 4. The Utenvert has 3 activations, so it has 3 tokens. Those go into a bag or a cup or whatever you want to use, and you draw them randomly to see who's going to activate when. Part of the game, we generate ritual points. So we roll our chosen stat. For me, it's defense. And I roll that for each character, take the highest one, and I add that to the pool. So we'll do Emmerich. So he gets a 10. So he had a 10 and a 2, so I would keep the 10. Tokens are placed in container, like so. Then container goes over here. Now the way this sits on the table, from where we stand, I reach, I can't see. So you know, I'm not gonna cheat because that's no fun. But they do sit down in the bottom down there. And give that a nice little shake. And we'll go to turn 1. I'm not entirely sure of with the solo campaigns, at least in the supplement, is how long the scenario is supposed to last. So I'm going to go off the regular PvP scenarios are 4 and 5 rounds respectively, so I'm going to play it as 5 rounds. If that's incorrect, or if you know better, if there's a fact somewhere where that's been clarified, let me know, just for future reference. So to start off, we're going to draw a token. We got number 2 for me. So that's going to be Claustrum gets to activate. When you activate, you have a total of 2 activations 2 points of activations that you can use. And there's a table, handy dandy table right here that tells you how much everything costs. So a move is 1, a run is 2, melee is 1, range is 1, prey is 2, ritual is 1. So I'm going to start off with a run on Claustrum. Run action, you don't have to go in a straight line. You can move through friendlies, you cannot move through enemies. That's the same for regular movement. However, in a run, you cannot go over anything that's taller than an inch. So you get normal movement is 6 inches, a run is movement and a half. So if you have a higher movement, then that would change. But for most of my guys, it's going to be a movement of 9 inches on a run, 6 on a regular movement. And then we draw another token. Number 1. So that'll be Emmerich. We'll run up. Don't want to go too close because I don't know where this Utenvert is going to pop into the table yet. We have Vertin, who's going to run 9 inches this way. Standing right there, not going the full 9. And then we've got an Utenvert activation. Randomly select one of these dried bodies for the Utenvert to pop into. To do that, we roll a d10. Let me back up. I'm gonna say this in a slightly different order than the book does. First, we figure out which objective marker is closest to the model who last activated. Virgin was the last one to activate, making this the closest marker. From there, we're going to roll a d10, 2, and we're going to count clockwise. And count clockwise, so that would go 1, 2. The Utenvert would pop in right there. Is our enemy, and then that's his activation for the round, or for that activation. He's got 2 more in the round. For the Utenvert. The Utenvert will move 6 inches towards the closest enemy that it can see. Which the closest that it can see is Relik, because he is just totally obstructed at the moment. So he's going to make a beeline, which means he's going to try to jump/climb down. To climb down, he's got to make a dex check. So when you assemble that dice pool, you look at the stat, which is 3. You roll a d10 for each of those 3. And on this particular test, we're just looking for a 5 or better. We have a 5 or better, so the Utenvert can climb down. It is the Utenvert. From his new vantage, he can see Claustrum, so he will move on towards him. And then the last chit in the bucket should be Relik. And Relik is going to run this way to oh no, because it's going to go away. He's still going to go that way. Around, we pick up the chits, they go back in the container, and the Utenvert goes back into hiding with the sneaky that he is. 2 starts, I gain 4 ritual points for my passive ritual, the Devout. It says that at the beginning of every round, I gain a ritual point for every model that I still have on the table, excluding summons. Activation is Relik. Run his 9 inches up that way. Next up, Utenvert spawns. 3 on the D10, going clockwise from that objective, gets us to this one. Another Utenvert activation, so it's going to be either towards Imric or Verton. I got to measure to see who's closer. I think it's going to be Imric, though. Imric is closer than 6, Verton is further than 6, so the Utenvert will come at Imric. Moves up into combat, so he's going to make a strength test. So 9 is his high number. Then I'm going to make a defense test. Oh, and I got the 10. No damage. Because when you roll, again, you don't count everything. You just take the highest roll from the pool. For me. Next activation. Imric gets to crack back. Imric's roll gets a 1. That's going to miss. Up. Verton. Move 6 and then perform a ritual. She is going to summon an avatar of the Great Worm. Goes down within 2 inches of her, and then we put a summon token immediately into the cup. A greater summon, it did cost 20 of my 44 RP that I had. Have Utenvert, which will swing again at Imric. Roll for the Utenvert, getting a 7. And a 2 dice roll for Imric, getting a 7. So we're good. That is a hit, because it is a hit on a meet or exceed. And the damage on the Utenvert's attack is 4, so Imric will take 4 damage. We have Claustrum, who's going to climb. Oh wait, I gotta make a dex roll. So we're gonna roll our dex. That's an 8. We make it up the wall. Part where it says when the game ends, it was in the special rules section. I just missed it because in the other ones it's in a different, it's written a little bit differently in those scenarios. But it is 5, I guess correctly. It's 5 rounds. I'm going to spend his second action to check this Dryad Corpse marker and remove it from the table. We have our summon, who's going to move and attack the Utenvert. Coming at him with a strength of 3. Getting a 4. That's not the best. Oh wait, I have 1 more dice to roll there because there's another friendly model in melee with it, so I get a flanking bonus, which is 1 extra strength dice to the roll. So I do have 1 more dice to roll there, which is a 6, which is better than a 4. Defense roll. Blocks it with the 10. Round, the Utenvert disappears. We pick up our tokens. Next round starts. I will gain 4 RP because summons don't count for my Devout ritual. Round 3. Imric, who's going to run... No, he's going to move up, and he's going to use the Mort Shroom that he has to heal back up to full. It heals 5, he took full. Claustrum, who's going to run north towards that objective. It's him to right there. Verton, who will move and remove, check that dried corpse. Activation, Utenvert. So closest objective to her is now this one. So we'll roll our D10, 5, and then we'll count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Utenvert has manifested. This is the next activation, and he will move up 6. Next activation is the Greater Summon of Shalek, the Greater Avatar of Shalek. To make it to right there in the middle. Next we have Ralik, who will just move up to here and prepare himself to climb next turn. The cup is the Utenvert, who will move up 6 to attack Claustrum. Getting an 8 against my defense 2. Getting a 10. Hold strong, boys. Shalek protects. Turn 4. Utenvert. It is the Utenvert. Now, I'm pretty sure Ralik was the last model to activate. So I think it would come... Oh, sorry. It would start there, and then we would roll the dice. 3. So 1, 2, 3, and it comes back to right there. Vert goes again, so we'll make that dex check to get down. Ooh, he makes it, but he almost fell. If neither of these had been a 5 and he rolled that 1, then he would have fallen and taken some damage. It is, he is able to climb down, but not able to get to a position where he can climb down and make it into contact. Utenvert. All right, get in there, buddy. 2 against defense 2. Gets a 6. Okay. Gets a 10. Blocked him out. We have the Summon, who can't do too much, so it's just going to move up this way, kind of get itself into a position. So we've got Emmerich, who's going to run up 9, I think, towards that objective. Next, we have Verton, who is not close enough to get there, so she's just going to run to that dried corpse. Then she'll be able to activate it, get to it on the next turn. Claustrum, who is going to spend 1 action for the ritual Berserk, which will cost 5 ritual points of run, as well as a free attack at the end of the run. And if he were to kill it, he could then run and attack something else. But I don't think he's going to kill the Ugmer. But there's a door right here, so we're going to run through that door up to the backside on the Utenvert. 1, but he gets an extra 1 there because he's flanking. It's a 9. That's pretty good. Got defense 3 on the Utenvert. Defense 3. But does not beat a 9. So that'll be, with his maul, 8 damage. Next up we have Ralik, who is going to ritual Twisting the Fates, and which allows him a reroll, and then he's going to try to climb up out of there. Let's roll to climb. Aced it. Still has a reroll. Round first activation. Emmerich, who will move and investigate the corpse. Now, if I were to get lucky enough that I got to go with Verton and Ralik before I drew a Utenvert token, then I think that means that he wouldn't be able to spawn because there wouldn't be a corpse there for him to pop out of. But I'm not certain. But that's not going to be an issue because the Utenvert is going next. So these are pretty much equal distance because of the way I set them up. So we're just going to start with, well, even or odd. So even will be the western edge. It's a 7, so it'll be the eastern edge. We'll roll our D10. We get a 3, so it'll go 1, 2, 3. Next is the summon, who's not in a position to do anything, so he's just going to move, run down to the middle and roar at the thing, because that's all he can really do. Next is Verton, who will investigate the corpse and then move towards the middle. Next is Claustrum, who can potentially do some good here and get up there. He can get up there. Climb up and take a swing. Get the bonus here because he's not base to base with Ralik. It's a 4 against their defense 3. Yeah, no damage. That's hooked up. Ralik. Ralik is just going to move up and check out the corpse that's right there underneath at the feet of the guy. It may be a bad decision, but whatever. Formations of the game are the Utenvert. So we're going to randomize who he swings at. So on an even, he will swing at Ralik. Even, he will swing at Ralik with his strength 2. That's a crit. And I can't beat that because it's meet or exceed. So a crit's pretty much always going to hit. So that's going to be 5 damage because his crit is +1. Second swing, same even or odd. Even, he'll swing at Ralik again. Really doesn't like him stooped down there. It makes sense. Strength 2. Another crit. That will take Ralik down. Bring a close to the game. So let's take a look at the post-game wrap-up. So first we have to roll in the injury table for Ralik. That's a 2. He loses an eye. His max range while performing ranged action is permanently reduced by half. And if it received this injury another time, it is considered permanently dead. Luckily, Ralik is not a ranged fighter. He is an up-close ankle cleaver. Will henceforth be known as Ralik One Eye, the world's smallest cyclops. To explore the forest. So we're going to draw a card from the deck, getting a 10. So on a 10, while searching, we find a mount. Check page 19. We'll talk about what the mount does in just a second. Lastly, we get to spend favor. So the mission says that we gain favor. Nope, wrong one. We want this page. We gain 2d10 favor for each dried corpse. So we got all of the corpses, so that is 10d10 worth of favor. Come to a grand total of 65 favor for 10, 30, 50, 65. The mount gives me a 9-inch move and a 12-inch run. It gives me +1 defense when I'm attacked if I've already made a move with a ranged action. I may not climb any terrain over an inch tall. And then when I attack with it, I get an extra strength, which is pretty solid. That's going to go to Emmerich the bear. And since I don't have a mounted version of him, what we're going to say is that Shalek has sent a vast army of his smallest wormy followers to move the earth under my feet to carry me forward at an accelerated pace, carrying with me the glory and deep arcane knowledge of Shalek the Burrower. 65 favor. I'm going to have 10 left over. I'm going to spend 50 of it to give Verton, my ranged fighter, +1 to their dex, which costs 50. And then I'm going to spend 5 to replace the Mort Shroom that Emmerich ate. And then I'm going to bank the other 10. Next game that we play, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into the different types of terrain and the terrain rules, because that is kind of a big part of the game. The board plays a fairly large role as the third character. There's a lot of different options in there. But on the first game, I just kind of wanted to lay out the rules, the mechanics as much as I could, as many of them as I could. Next game, we'll go deeper into some of that terrain and what that stuff can do for your table and for the experience of playing the game. Verrotwood. But for today, that's going to do it. Thanks so much for tuning in and hanging out while we played this first game of Verrotwood. I hope you have an absolutely amazing rest of your day.